George of the jungle.
Hey George, I heard interest rates are going up, but then I also heard that the Federal Reserve isn't going to raise rates for 2 more years. What's going on out there? So these are great questions. Thanks for asking. You're in thecreditjungle.com. My name is George Anderson. And there's been some conflicting news stories out there. I mean, last week, today is September 21st, last week Wednesday, the Fed announced that they're basically just going to continue their pattern of mortgage-backed security purchases, that they're not going to have any rate increases for a while. So everybody assumes that that means that, okay, well, rates, the Federal Reserve controls rates. Well, they control rates about as much as they control the stock market. Okay, they can influence, but they really can't dictate what's going on in the markets because it is still a free market out there and there's a lot of other factors affecting it, one of which is the refinance adverse market fee that we talked about earlier when they first announced that back in June, and they were going to implement it in September, and then they decided, oh, we're going to push it back now to December 1st. But the Federal Housing Finance Agency is going to implement a fee that does start on refinanced loans, loan amounts above $125,000, starting on December 1st. And that's going to be the delivery date. So it's really loans that are going to be like closed starting in November, and most lenders are going to start pricing that in sometime in October. Some of them have already done it. So it's just important to be able to understand that. But what is the difference between a fee and a rate? So the fee is a 0.5% delivery fee. So on a $300,000 loan, that's a $1,500 fee. Well, does that mean that you're going to be charged that? No, it doesn't. What happens is that the lender is going to be charged that, and they will compensate for that by charging you a higher interest rate. So in effect, you're going to be paying for it on an installment basis, but not on an upfront basis. But that 0.5%, the way that there's what I just call a term, I'm just making it up because I used to be a private pilot. But anyway, we've kind of got what I call a stratified interest rate market for everything that's above par. In other words, you used to be able to do a loan at a little bit higher interest rate and help pay for somebody's closing costs. But the banks aren't giving any premium to purchase a higher interest rate loan right now because they're afraid that if the rates stay low, they're just going to do that and then somebody's going to refinance it and then they're going to lose what's called their service release premium on the back end of it. So there's very little room to buy up the rate. So what it means is that 0.5% delivery fee is going to always translate to at least 1/8%. And on some loans, depending on whether it's a cash out refinance, if it's what type of loan it is, what the credit scores are, the loan to value, it could be as much as 0.25%. Now, does that mean that the rates are going to be bad? Well, no, because we've had for most of the summer, for the last 6 months, if you pick the right day, we've been below 3%. So is 3% or 3 1/8 or 3 1/4 a bad interest rate? Is it going to stop a lot of people from refinancing? No, there's still almost $1 trillion worth of mortgages out there right now of people who have above 700 credit scores, and if they could get a 3% rate, they would be dropping their interest rate 0.75% or better. So there's still plenty of opportunities out there, but just go ahead and just be aware that there's a difference between 0.5% to the rate and 0.5% to the fee. But either way, if you act now, there's time to get something in, get it going, and get it closed before Thanksgiving. And I think that's probably a good date to have in mind as far as getting your transaction done. So thanks for coming into thecreditjungle.com today. This is George Anderson. Remember, you can push button and get mortgage professional, and I would love to talk with you about your situation. Have a great day.